This will be the Vivarium of Vivariums. I am Ants Canada, creator of worlds, the biological engineer of a multi-year operation in my giant ant room lab, located in my home, where I'm building an expansive network of ecosystem vivariums. Exhibit A, Pantora, my 1,000-gallon cloud rainforest floor vivarium, which is connected by way of a cave tunnel to Exhibit B, Hydromeda, a tropical wetlands vivarium, and to a vertical glass bridge of wooden vines, ascending up to Exhibit C, Orchidia, a treetop canopy vivarium on the floor above, and through an opening at the back, leading to a fallen log bridge, to Exhibit D, Verdantia, a gargantuan 2,000-gallon tropical grasslands vivarium. It's all one massive connected ecosystem I call Pangea, housing a plethora of fungi, plants, and animals whose purpose is to reveal how ecosystems work in the wild. And guys, this happens to be the 100th episode of this Ecosystem Vivarium series. Crazy! So in celebration of this milestone, I've decided to announce that I have officially begun the construction of our next giant vivarium, which will attach to Pangea and is set to be the Vivarium of Vivaria, pushing the boundaries of possibility in my ongoing quest to reconstruct Mother Nature within glass. And guys, you will be mind-blown by what I have planned for this next tank, Vivarium 5. Please subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon. Welcome to the AC family. Enjoy. As Pangea's creator of worlds, I've come to learn that building these ecosystem biomes within glass requires a great deal of planning and research in order to work. It requires a clear understanding of the biome under construction, a plan for what types of living things would call it home, and how they would all interact, a knowledge on the needs of these species, and what environmental factors need to be replicated for them to thrive. But most of all, it requires an understanding of the role the biome plays at keeping the planet alive. It's why I've been studying for this next vivarium, tentatively called Vivarium 5 or Viv 5, for years now, and have been canvassing for the right team to help me, because I always knew that when I was ready, and was crazy enough to actually attempt to pull off such a hard and complex world, creating this particular ecosystem vivarium would be the coolest, most ambitious, most biodiverse, and greatest opportunity for learning in a single vivarium yet. Soon you'll understand why I say it's an understatement that Viv 5 will be unlike any other vivarium we've ever made, and to the best of my knowledge, a first of its kind. So what biome will this new vivarium be? Well, it's quite specific and a bit on the complex side, but you guys will love it. So let's get to it. One of the things that will make this next giant vivarium different is that it will offer more ecological niches for its residing creatures than any other existing vivaria in Pangea. How so? Well, to put it simply, it's a compound of habitats that can be divided into 4 different zones, which will be home to different sets of creatures. So let's start by talking about the first zone. It's maintenance day for Godzilla, my young spectacled caiman. He eats once a week and poops once a week. And when he does, my team and I go in to give Godzilla and everything in his enclosure a good cleaning. We take precautions to ensure our safety during this potentially dangerous operation, but every time, Godzilla is highly cooperative and anticipates his favorite part of this maintenance day routine, which you will witness shortly. Now, as a crocodilian, he's got some really sharp teeth and is capable of a nasty bite, which is why, if you've been following the channel, you know he's been undergoing human desensitization training in this very open holding tank, which has been a temporary home until he gets transferred to his next home. As you can see, his training has been effective as he is totally calm around us now. And this comfortability around humans is important to instate while these caiman are young and small, because a full-grown 5-foot caiman that is scared of humans can lead to a lethal situation rather quickly. We start by doing a water change, scrub down his rocks and tank, as well as scrub his back. And this is the part he loves the most. Arching his back so we can really get in there with a good scrubbing, with his mouth wide open. This back scrubbing session takes him to crocodilian ecstasy. Oh, tickles. Sorry, Godzilla. This scrubbing helps keep algae off his back and also removes dead scutes, the bony scales that cover his body. As you can see, he's really come a long way from wanting to bite our hands off back when he first started this training program to now looking forward to this weekly scrub time. Once this tank is completely clean, it's time to go in and add some floating lettuce, which will help with keeping nitrogen levels in the water down until the next week's water change, and also reintroduce beneficial microscopic life, which will assist in keeping the water clean. Now, as much as he's come to love this holding tank, as mentioned, he's ready to move to a larger home, with a larger land area onto which to bask, and a new set of aquatic organisms in the waters. Now, I've been planning to have Godzilla move into Viv 5 because Godzilla species can actually be found in Viv 5's biome in the wild. So I can't wait for him to enjoy life in Viv 5 when it's completed. At least for a little while before we move him to either my 60-foot outdoor pond in my yard or to a friend's zoo to live and breed with other spectacled caimans like him. He will particularly love what I have planned for Viv 5's first zone. The first zone of Viv 5 will be a rocky jungle, and I plan to have a variety of tropical plants growing around a volcanic rock hill onto which he can climb and bask under, just as he does in his current tank, but with a lot more land space. Also, Viv 5 will provide a huge swimming area for him, with a ton of microorganisms swimming around in it. And get this, no more water changes needed. I know you tank folks are scratching your heads at this, but more about that in a bit. He'll also be able to hunt for prey, like crickets and roaches migrating from the other Vivaria, as well as those he manages to catch in the other 3 zones. Now onto Zone 2, which I think you guys will find truly interesting. I'm a beach guy and have been able to visit some incredible beaches around the world. Each beach is different, and not all beaches are powdery sands and walkable. In fact, a lot of them are dangerous, rocky, and hard to navigate. But it's these hard-to-get-to places that I find are the most biologically interesting to explore. Tide pools are isolated pockets of seawater that form in rocky depressions along the coastline as the tide recedes, creating thriving miniature ecosystems. These dynamic habitats harbor hardy marine life, such as anemones, sea urchins, starfish, crabs, and seaweed adapted to drastic daily changes in sunlight, temperature, and water levels. AC Family, Viv 5 will have a tide pool zone where water can be trapped and creatures can take advantage of these high nutrient bowls of wet living space. I definitely plan on introducing tide pool creatures to Viv 5, which will truly make it a unique vivarium. I've seen a few interpretations of tide pools simulated in tanks online, but I don't think I've seen them quite like how we're going to create ours. I truly plan on replicating nature with this zone. I'm so stoked about this. Now about not needing water changes. On the topic of nutrients, this brings me now to Zone 3. Ooh, you guys will love this. Hydromeda, the wetlands vivarium, has been pretty non-problematic, save a few leak incidents at the start. The water environment is completely stable, and insects travel from other vivaria and end up drowning in the water, feeding other creatures below it. It's actually an aquatic paradise down here, but it does come at a price. It's pretty high maintenance to keep things stable. Once a week, Hydromeda requires a 25% water change to get rid of the nitrogen produced from fish waste and decaying material in the water. This nitrogenous waste is poisonous to animals if it builds up to certain levels, and many creatures like Valentino, my green tree python, who drinks from the water on a regular basis, depend on Hydromeda's waters to be clean. A powerful sump filter and an awesome team of plants help remove some of the nitrogen and nutrients from the water, but not all, hence the weekly 25% water changes. However, after discussing with my team, I'm excited to share that once Viv 5 is up and running, we no longer will have to worry about these weekly 25% water changes in Hydromeda, as we'll have a place to siphon off all the dirty water to, where a special set of organisms will gladly eat it all up. Mangroves are among the most productive and biologically complex ecosystems on Earth, serving a critical bridge between land and sea in tropical and subtropical regions. They're superheroes of coastal ecosystems, acting as buffers against huge storm waves and erosion. They're biodiversity hotspots, providing a home for a ton of species, and are climate change warriors as they trap hundreds of millions of tons of CO2 gas from the atmosphere. The mangroves themselves are highly specialized plants that have adapted to live in salty water or brackish water, i.e., a mix of salty and fresh water. They're able to filter out the salts via salt glands in their leaves and have roots that can filter it out as well. Mangroves also help filter the water of pollutants and eat up a ton of nitrogenous waste and nutrients. And so I plan on having water from Hydromeda travel through some clever piping to emerge as a small drip system into Viv 5 to eventually feed the mangroves, and simply top off Hydromeda using special water level sensors with fresh water directly from my tap, which comes from a well, so no chlorine. In this way, both Hydromeda and Viv 5 will not require partial water changes and will be truly stable with little to no human maintenance required. Plus, this is actually what happens in nature, where fresh water travels through the tropics, which is what Hydromeda represents, and eventually makes its way to the biome of Viv 5. Now, the mangroves will also provide essential habitat and hunting ground for other cool creatures, like mudskippers, which are the cutest predatorial fish that can live in water and on land, as well as archer fish, which spit droplets of water out to snipe bugs traveling on the mangroves, so they fall into the water to eat. I know a lot of you have been asking for both these neat creatures, so this should be a real treat if we pull it off. The mangroves also provide essential hiding spots for fish and other small critters hiding from predators, like Godzilla, as well as other key predators that I've been told could be properly sourced where I live and would reside in the fourth and final zone of Viv 5.
Problems get left on the mainland. Don't need that baggage, we're going. Just found the pearl of the Orient.
I live in the Philippines, which is an archipelago of over 7,600 islands, home to some of the most stunning beaches in the entire world. And my favorite beaches I've ever visited are found here in the Rock Islands of Palawan. Massive towering walls of black limestone jut out of the ocean like Gothic castles, cutting up the ocean into sections of shallower turquoise bodies of water, some of which are hidden estuaries where fresh water from lakes and streams meets salty water coming in from the ocean. These estuaries, bordered by mangroves, tide pools, and rocky jungle, are protected from the harsh ocean waves and are too shallow for larger predators to enter, which makes them peaceful, biodiverse sanctuaries known as nursery grounds. Every time I visit such nurseries, I always try to spot baby sharks, and have been lucky on several occasions. This is a nursery ground I visited several years ago where I spotted baby black-tipped sharks hunting for fish. In these nursery grounds, one can find a ton of truly neat aquatic life, including seagrass and kelp, coral and sponges, various species of schooling fish, hunters like lionfish and mudskippers, crustaceans like a mano shrimp, which are found in hydrometa but that require brackish water for their larvae to hatch, weird invertebrates like sea cucumbers, larger creatures like stingrays, and my ultimate favorite, baby sharks, who flee to these nursery grounds after hatching from their eggs to escape predation from other sharks and fish. AC family, for those of you screaming at your screen right now at the prospect of having stingrays and sharks in Pangaea, I won't reveal too much more, but bid you all to make sure you subscribe to the channel, because like I said, Viv 5 will be unlike any other vivarium we've ever made, and to the best of my knowledge, a first of its kind in the entire world. And I'd love for you guys to be part of the journey as we built it and learn along the way. So now you may be asking, after all we've seen, a jungle zone, a tide pool zone, a mangrove forest zone, and a nursery, what exactly is this biome we're building in Vivarium 5? Well, AC family, there is a name for it. It's a place where the jungle, the tide pools, the mangroves, and the nursery all converge into a single key habitat, offering a very specific set of niches for a massive array of life. A dynamic world shaped by the tides, where freshwater meets the salty in a brackish cocktail, creating a biologically rich and geologically complex cradle of space, tucked away in some of the most remote tropical parts of the planet that a lot of people don't hear much about, but is absolutely vital to all life on Earth. And after having visited and experienced this incredible biome and studied the insane array of specialized species that call it home, I, your creator of worlds, am committed to rise to the challenge of replicating it as the newest beneficial integration to Pangaea. And so, in this 100th episode of the Ecosystem Vivarium series, AC family, I am proud to announce that our Vivarium 5 shall be a lagoon. And you better believe we're getting a shark.
Problems get left on the mainland. Don't need that baggage, we're going. Just found the pearl of the Orient. Don't know how to swim, just jump. Cheers to a good time, not a long ride. We'll be on a beach in Boracay. Them good vibes, rain or shine. We're gon' have fun, always mabuhay. Clock doesn't stop, gotta live your life.
Vote in my community tab to affect this story.
Everything's better when on island time. My top weather, and when we get together, it's on island. Show